Welcome to another episode of You Don't Know Jack. This is season 6, episode 1.
Season 6.
Can you believe it?
I know it's, I say it all the time on here. It's been a long, strange trip.
Yep. And it's and we're now at season 6. We've ended up now at season 6.
Yeah. And so listen, I want to say right now as we jump into season 6, season 5 was shorter than the other seasons. Yeah. And part because, you and I had a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of ins and outs, what have you.
I will say this, both you and I grew exponentially professionally in the last 6 to 8 months. And so when that happens, you have to take some breaks from things that your passion projects, but it doesn't mean they're over. So
Correct.
Thank you for our listeners for keeping up to date with us and we did not abandon you.
No, and we'll try to be, we're
going to be
having a more robust season.
We're going to be more consistent.
Yes.
Plus it was summer. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, seriously, we had more time in the summer, but none of us wanted to do it in the summer. It's too nice.
It's too nice. We're doing other things.
Yeah. So we're at season 6.
Yes.
When you see it, when you find us on all the social media platforms, you'll see our new feature character. So we went through them. So we've had Jack Gilmore.
Yes.
We've had Jack the dog. Jack Nicholas, Jack Nicholson, and Jack Black. So there'll be a new Jack.
There's a new Jack on the horizon. So in order to figure out who that is, you're going to have to go look at our artwork. Twitter. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and then also actually the podcast.
On the podcast
app
itself, you'll be able to see.
Yeah, you'll be able
to see.
And
then can you figure out
artwork.
who it is? You should be able to.
And if you can, let us know.
Yeah.
Drop us a line.
Yeah,
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, exactly. So, but season 6 getting kicked off.
Yeah, so let's start with the WNBA. They're entering their final day of the regular season, which is tonight. They're going to have stiff competition with Thursday Night Football, but
yeah, it will be a tough night for them tonight.
It's going to be a tough night for them, but I think diehards are going to watch them. There are 8 playoff teams. They're set, but there's 3 of the 4 first-round matchups that are going to be determined. So the Minnesota Lynx have the best record. They're in. No question. They look really, really good. They were really great last year. They're really good this year. Las Vegas Aces, again, a team that's always at the top, in. Atlanta Dream, in. Phoenix Mercury, in. New York Liberty, in. Not surprising. Any of these teams. Indiana Fever, they're in.
Surprised the Indiana Fever managed to qualify for the playoffs.
Yes.
They're going to be the 6th seed, or they're right around the 6th seed right now.
They are the 6th seed, yeah.
But they have done it without Kaitlin Clark most of the year.
Yeah, so Kaitlin Clark she's out for the rest of the season. She kind of came back. She was starting in the beginning, and then she got a groin injury that was just a nagging groin injury that never really went away. She played. She tried to tough it out. It got worse. She sat out several games. And then eventually was like, I can't do it the rest of the season.
And if you watch, sports highlight shows, be it Sports Center or, whatever other sports shows you're watching, the WNBA has slipped on terms of even the attention it's got on national sports recaps without Kaitlin Clark. So, I mean, her being out. Is definitely. It hurts some of the notoriety to the casual fan.
It hurts for the casual fan, absolutely, and it also hurts ticket sales for when they're going. So they were going and selling out arenas, changing venues to accommodate more ticket sales, and that's not happening towards the latter part of the season because she's not there. What I would say is they as a news broadcasting organization, sports broadcasting, they shouldn't not cover the WNBA because she's not there, because she's not going to be there forever.
Correct.
And there's a lot of really great players like Paige Buckets, who we love, who is in Houston. She had been riddled with injuries at UConn and had a pretty successful first rookie year.
I mean, hey, Angel Reese has led the team in rebounding, led the team in scoring, leads the WNBA in double-doubles. She might lead the WNBA in rebounding.
I think she does.
Yeah. So she's had a really nice year on a very bad team.
Here, and we'll get into this in a minute, but I want to finish the playoff standings. So Golden State, here's a fun fact. This is the first time ever in WNBA history that an expansion team in its first year has made it to the playoffs.
Other than the first year,
obviously. Of course, yes. But that's an expansion year, an expansion team.
The Valkyries.
The Valkyries, yep. And then Seattle Storm, which is also like in the mix. So that none of these teams are surprising. But Golden State, that's a new one. So that's exciting. So let's talk about Angel Reese.
Yes.
Angel Reese got suspended from the WNBA because she received her 8th technical foul.
Sure.
She also made comments, and she got fined pretty heavily.
Right.
She made comments against her team.
Right. She got fined by her team, I think, for her comments.
For her comments.
Not by the league.
Not by the league, but her team, because she came out and said that, she's on a crappy team. How she's supposed to be. And this is what I would like to say to the WNBA commissioner. I know she and I have beef, but this is the thing I would say to her. Please take a page out of the NBA commissioners, Adam Silver. Please take a page out of his book. You
Marvel
have
Comics villain.
Totally, but such a sweet man. What I would say is if you see a player who is getting 8 technical fouls in a game because she's frustrated with where she has been used to entering into a portal to get to a different team because she controls that narrative. That doesn't exist anymore. She is struggling. You need to pull her aside and say, okay, what are we battling here? How can we help this be a smoother transition? And how can you understand that you are actually a part of a team now, that you can't leave if it doesn't go the way you want?
Well, what's really hard for a lot of these young pro athletes is you got to understand they have won at every level they've ever been at.
Correct.
And so, but by the way, where they get drafted, they usually get drafted very high because they're very good and the teams they're going to are very bad. So for the first time, they have to get used to losing, and it's not fun.
It isn't. But if you see somebody who is not getting the memo, 6 months, a year in, it's time to pull them aside and say, do you need to take some time away and like refocus your energy? And it's not about you. It's about the team. And she talked poorly about the team.
I think Chicago's got to get better. I think they stink.
I think they do too. But that's not the, you're not, there was no constructive aspect of her comments.
No, but when your team sucks, when do you get to say, man, these guys are a bunch of stiffs?
You say that to your friends and family at your barbecue in your backyard when there's no media.
Maybe they need to play better.
Well, they do need to play better.
Yeah, they need to get better players.
They need to get better players, but that happens over time. You and I both know that. It doesn't happen
But I guess
overnight.
she's frustrated. She's Kaitlin Clark on a better team, and they stunk when they got her. And but Chicago's not really helping the program.
Well, I get it, but
And Chicago drafted that big stiff in front of Angel Reese, and she's not been very good.
She's not been good. But my problem is like, you have to have some grace here.
I guess.
I mean, in the public persona.
Yeah, I'm on her side on this one. I think that team stinks.
I think they do too, but you can't continue to get. You can get fined for it and be like this person.
Did you ever see the movie Kicking and Screaming?
Yes, of course.
With Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Mike Ditka. You saddled me with a bunch of losers. It's gonna take me 3 years to turn this team around. Yeah, I mean that's basically. I understand. That's basically Angel Reese's position. You saddled me with a bunch of losers.
I understand her frustration. Yeah. She is still, despite all of that, she still has managed to achieve greatness in the league.
And I think she's a really good player.
She's a great player. Nobody is diminishing that. However, she diminishes that for herself when she makes comments like this and she's in the news for the wrong reasons.
I think she thinks her teammates are taking money out of her pocket because they're going to hurt her on endorsement deals because her team stinks.
Okay. Well,
I'm just saying.
Let's agree to disagree.
I'm saying Chicago stinks.
Yes. Nobody is debating that.
And if they don't get better in the off season, she should demand to be traded. She should take her talents elsewhere. Seriously, she knows.
And she's more than welcome to do that. Right. What I'm saying is,
but she knows
these are all these are all conversations that typically happen in the background.
I'm just trying to shame them into be better.
That's what you're trying to do. Hey, Chicago's got to do better.
I think this is
be better,
positive,
do better.
This is positive, negative reinforcement.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. So it comes back around to being positive.
Yeah, exactly. She's trying to motivate her teammates.
Yeah, I think we maybe need to like say, okay, we understand.
Say you guys suck.
You guys suck. End of sentence. How are we going to do better? Not just saying you suck. Okay, how can we make this better? Let's maybe try to find a different avenue.
I don't think that's what she's saying.
No, she's definitely not saying
here's what
that.
I think she's saying. You guys suck. Trade me.
You know what she did say? She said, you took my words out of context. I didn't talk about my team like that, which is, again, the lack of, she's young. She's young. So lack of life experience.
We always fall back on taken out of context.
Of course.
But listen, her team sucks.
Plausible deniability.
That's what she's saying. Chicago sucks. Trade me. It was the Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid
Chicago
name.
Sky.
Stupid name.
All right. Well, maybe she'll get traded.
Yeah. I think she's angling to be traded.
Yes. I think she's causing a ruckus to be traded.
Yes.
Because
I don't blame her. Those guys stink.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's talk about the NFL. You want to talk about that?
There's some other guys that stink.
Oh, boy.
The Dolphins, man, they stink.
Well,
embarrassing to their whole fan base. Not that there's many of them.
Uh-huh. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. Okay, the season's kicked off. They went to Brazil, and the Chiefs lost.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, I'm coming out fiery.
I was say, my God, season 6.
Yeah,
Matt
but listen, Brazil. Look, no, I have no disrespect to Brazilians the world over. God bless them. But like, why are we? So by the way, you're taking the Chiefs.
We're trying to spread the joy and laughter of the NFL to the worldwide audience.
It's like they're trying to spread gonorrhea in a whatever.
But
in
a port town.
Yeah, exactly. But here's what I'm saying. That's a big game. It's the Chiefs and it's the Chargers. Both should be good. It's going to be a division rivalry. The Chargers got their pocket picked of a home game, have to take on the Chiefs, even though they won in frickin' Brazil. Yeah. By the way, last time they went to Brazil, a guy got hurt. The Eagles played somebody. Jordan Love got hurt. His knee got hurt. Because, again, I'm sure the turf's beautiful for soccer. It wasn't amenable to football. I just don't understand why we're doing it.
And the air travel. I mean, you already have the facilities available to you in the United States. The arenas are purpose built. I don't understand retrofitting soccer stadiums for a football game. It doesn't make any sense.
I get why I get why the Jacksonville Jaguars play some of their games in London. They stink. Nobody wants to see them in Duval in Duval County. They stink. Nobody wants to see them.
Those are fine. But the owner, Chiefs and the Chargers should be given.
Great. The owner, Khan, he's a subject of the crown. He lives over there. Yeah. Okay, it's his team. He can do what he wants. Fine. Yeah. I get that. But, Brazil, come on, man. It's in that game, NFL kickoff, it's the second year in a row they've done it down there. Come on, man. You celebrate it here, okay? Yeah. I'm not trying to be, xenophobic or wrap myself in the flag here.
I will say this. I think the kickoff to a season should be in a stadium in the United States. And then, as the season goes on, you can have, a scheduled game between two teams in another location. If that's a hill you want to die on. Right?
And they kicked off the season in Philadelphia. The Eagles and the Cowboys. Jalen Carter thrown out faster than anybody in history. I mean, we didn't even run a play and he spit in some guy's face. I mean,
the other guy spit first. Apparently.
Yeah. Well, the other guy spit on the field, and Jalen Carter. By the way, Jalen Carter, great football player. Yeah. Don't want him as my driver. Okay, if you don't understand Jalen Carter and driving, Google it. Georgia, not a great driver.
No.
And again, listen, there are certain things that you can do and not do in the NFL and not do in society.
Yeah,
man. Spitting on another human's face, spitting in a man's face, another man's face.
You spit in his chest.
Yeah, but spitting on another human.
It's not good. Not great.
It's not good. Again,
it's the lowest of the low.
Ray Rice, not condoning it, but he gets spit in the face. He punched his fiance out. I mean, again, not saying you should do that, but I'm saying there's a lot of people. It's like an involuntary response. You spit on me, I'm probably throwing a fist.
You're throwing,
yeah, hands. I'm gonna let the hands go. Yeah, I mean, it's just a natural thing. I'm not talking about you're talking and saliva flies out of your mouth.
No,
I'm talking you hawk too.
Well, that's the thing. And I said to Tim, he says, he spit on the guy. I was like, wait, spit on a guy? Spitting seeds at a baseball game, spitting?
No, this is
a Broadway show performance.
This is rear back loogie.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, saw it in slow motion actually.
So I mean, that
not a great look. But I will say, the Chargers Chiefs game. Chiefs lost the second time in a row.
Yeah, I know.
They lost the Super Bowl.
And they got a tough game this week. They play.
They're not as good as they.
No,
they're not as good.
Their receivers. Well, here's the question: Is Patrick Mahomes' Super Bowl window with this iteration? Because he's not that old. He's got another run, But with this iteration of players, is it coming to? Is it close?
It's done.
Because they play. They play the Eagles. Yeah, the Phillies going to Kansas City.
Yeah.
This Sunday, and they could easily be 0-2.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter not spit on anybody. Hopefully, stay in the game.
Yeah. We'll make sure that. I was like, was his mouth guard? He threw his mouth guard out? No,
but I'm saying so with the Chiefs. But they had one receiver suspended 6 games. Not exactly a good human. Another one got hurt.
Yeah.
So they're without their number 1 and number 2 wide receivers. Travis Kelce,
slow,
too busy, slow, old, and too busy, distracted by his fiance. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Shout out, congratulations.
My thing is this: he should have retired last year.
Yeah, but he looks slow. He looks old.
He is slow.
And by the way, he's 36. Not old in the real world. Old in NFL parlances.
100%.
Yeah,
he looked slow off the gate last year.
Yes.
Now he's even slower. And you and I have talked about this. Most guys try to lose and cut weight so they can be as quick as possible.
And he did lose weight.
He did lose weight.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you can do all these tactics you want, but Father Time comes
undefeated
for us all. Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers.
Speaking of Father Time.
Yeah, seriously. Father Time, Aaron Rodgers. He had an okay first game, but they need to protect the old man if they want to keep him
Well,
in the
and
game
so by the
for
way, some of
longer.
those stats deceiving. Yes, he threw 4 touchdowns. Look how many passes he threw at or behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
The Steelers made some good plays on offense. But man, he's 41.
He's 41 and it shows.
Even when he celebrates, he looks old, dude. Like, dude, you look old. Like,
He's like, did you take a nap
yeah,
before you came here, Grandpa?
you know, hey, put your dentures back in. Pay attention.
I mean,
maybe
he and
learn
I are the same age.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at him going.
Well, that's what I say about like Tom Brady. Like when people say like, "Oh, I can't believe he's falling down like that." I'm like, dude, he's 4 months older than me. I couldn't imagine getting hit at 45 by an NFL player.
No.
I understand he's a world class athlete. I'm not, but it's
Like
still
a Mack truck.
I mean, like okay, just walk out and let a 300-pound guy fall on my legs. No, thank you. No. So
No.
I mean, yeah,
You're
Aaron
like,
Rodgers.
I'm not getting out of bed for a
so
week.
Aaron Rodgers is your age. I understand he's a man. You're a woman, but you're the same age. I mean, you're talking about the trials and tribulations of playing pickleball. I mean, imagine getting hit by like a 330-pound guy. I'm just saying.
No, I would never
Yeah.
put myself in that position because I am what? Smart.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think that Steelers could have a good season, but
I think the
Don't.
Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to play good enough
They'll
to
good
not
enough
get
to-
not get a good draft pick to
Yeah.
do the rebuild that they really need to do.
Exactly. I think they're going to do what they need to do for long-term growth. Ty Johnson.
Yeah, I mean,
We're going to talk about
guys in
the
the league.
silver lining in this game.
This is 7th, 8th year in
seventh.
the
I
year
think
in the
it's
league.
the
Yeah,
seventh year in the league.
He's now a
Um,
Billboard sensation in Cumberland. He's like an ad guy now.
He is an
Man,
ad guy.
Shout out Chessie.
Yeah, buddy.
Chessie FCU
I
got
know.
got Ty all over the place.
Got the endorsement.
Yeah.
So Ty Johnson had a great game.
Yeah.
And he's from Cumberland, and we
Yeah.
love Ty, and we will root for Ty.
He should have had a touchdown
He
catch.
should have had a
If
touchdown
he
catch.
didn't catch it, it would have been a tough catch. But even they said on TV, like Ty Johnson's the best receiver that the Bills have out of the backfield. He probably makes that catch 95 times, 99 times out of 100.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
he would have had another touchdown.
Yeah. So it was a great game for Ty. Not so great for the Ravens.
I mean, John Harbaugh specializes in blowing big fourth quarter leads.
Okay. So I just want to say for the record that I sent you a text in the second.
Still awake,
second
by the way.
quarter. I know.
I was still awake.
Really like not expecting
Yeah.
you to send
I
me a
know.
response, and I was surprised by that. I was like, I'm going to get something
Yeah.
tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
You said so far. I said, hey, the Ravens look really good.
Right.
Meaning, and I wasn't talking about
Right.
score wise or anything at this
Yeah.
point. They were ahead, but I was just like, they just as
Yeah.
a team, they look really good. And
Right.
you were like, so far.
Right.
And that if that was not foreshadowing, I don't
Prophetic.
know what is, because then the fourth quarter rolls around. I'm watching the game. I'm like, they're going to try to lose this game. Your new kicker, by the way, banged it off the upright.
He did. Now, otherwise, he made a couple long kicks.
He
for
made a
rookie,
couple long
you know.
kicks. He did okay.
But that upright, like that missed extra point was not the reason they lost, because the
No.
Bills went for
They
two
went for
multiple
two,
times that
yeah.
maybe they would or wouldn't have had he made that. So I think
agree.
that
I'm just
I'm
saying.
not saying I'm not blaming the kicker for that.
I'm not blaming the kicker for
I'm
that.
putting the blame exactly where it belongs.
Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh.
I get it. And I think that, you lost that. You worked hard to lose that game.
They did. And
Mm-hmm.
now I will tell you a couple things. I do totally subscribe to, and it's not just because I am a Ravens fan. I am a Ravens fan of
Yeah.
those of you just tuning in.
Spoiler
You know,
alert.
but I'll say this. I've thought that, but I've heard multiple pundits say, top to bottom, 1 to
Yeah.
53 in the NFL. The best roster in the NFL
Ravens.
with some distance is the Ravens.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
by the way, I understand Josh Allen pulled some stuff out his rear end at the end. It was clear Lamar Jackson's the best player in the world. He's the best football
He's
player in
very
the world.
good. He's
Okay,
very good.
he just is.
Mhm.
No Raven is going to take Josh. No Ravens fan would say, "Oh, give me Josh Allen instead of Lamar Jackson."
No.
I think Bills fans, they might say it secretly. I think they would say, "Man, that'd be a good trade." Okay,
I think Bills fans would be gracious and
Right.
say, "Oh, if we had the opportunity to
Right.
have Lamar Jackson."
yeah, but even like I saw Cam Newton, who does political
Yeah.
commentary, or he's a sports talking head now.
Sure.
He said, "There's one team in the NFL that can beat the Ravens. The Ravens.
Mhm.
That's it. Like if the Ravens lose a game, it's because they're essentially their head cases. They screw it up." He said this after they lost week 1.
Well,
said,
I mean,
like,
it's
he
the
said-
truth
he said
because
this-
Cam Newton and I agree. The Ravens look really good.
Yes, but I mean, you have a guy. I mean, just lapses in coverage, missed tackles. Derrick
Extra
Henry
man on the field.
Derrick Henry fumbles.
Oh my God,
like
Derrick
it's just
Henry.
like, and he
It's
had
like, come on,
And by the
people.
way, like, and if you watched him, and Derrick Henry had a great game.
Mhm.
There were times like it looked like a man amongst boys. Like he is running through them, and like is
It's pretty epic.
As the NFLs, they'll say, like, man, some guys are making business decisions. They're like, yeah, I'm not going to go try to tackle that guy. Like, yeah, nah.
They're like, I'm not going to just
let me
pull up a minute.
No cornerbacks running over and be like, let me get in front of him.
Well, let me help you out, guys.
Yeah.
There was none of that. No, what I mean is, like, I just feel like they really looked together the first half of the game, and then they totally
really for the first 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, 3.5 quarters, and then oh my God, it's awful.
So, I mean, but again, John Harbaugh, the Ravens have blown. They are choke artists. They do choke jobs.
And so they do it all the time. They've been known for it.
It's not just with Zach Orr as the defensive coordinator. It happened when McDonald was the defensive coordinator. So, it's been happening the last 4 or 5 years. It's different scenarios against different teams.
Need to get their house in order.
Yeah, and I don't know, but the only constant that I see is John Harbaugh.
It's a top-down situation.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's switch sports, and we'll stick with Baltimore, though. But the O's look terrible this year.
They have, even though they're playing really well lately.
Yeah,
I think they're 8-2 of their last 10.
I said they have a glimpse of greatness, especially in the 9th inning against the Dodgers in a no-hitter. That was an amazing inning.
The Dodgers had like a 99.99% chance to win. Literally.
Yeah.
Orioles down to their last out. Jackson Holiday touches one off, and
Jackson Holiday. Yeah. I gotta say, what a stud! He made that.
I think he's good. I think the Orioles. It is very hard to look at the Orioles lineup and be like, how did this team struggle so much?
Well,
injuries have been a problem. Mm-hmm. I think they made some bad pitching decisions in the offseason.
They did, 100%.
But I look. But no, the Orioles this season has been. It's a lost season. It's a wasted season. Any way you look at it.
Yeah.
Changes were made, cost Hyder his job. I think you're going to see. I don't think Tony Manzolino will end up being the manager, even though he's done a nice job. I think the Orioles are going to look for a marquee guy to come in, because the thought is they are in a World Series window with their talent.
They are, yeah.
I think they're going to have to make some moves on pitching, though. I will tell you this: Trevor, I like to call him Cy Rodgers, has been unbelievable in his 14 starts or whatever for the Orioles. And if you didn't notice, Kyle Bradish is back from after 14 months and has been dominant. So the Orioles have a top of a rotation lineup.
They just had an off year,
but they need to get their bullpen needs to be completely rebuilt because they traded away all their best bullpen, which I don't blame them.
Well, yes and no, but you have to be able to win a ball game.
Yeah, but so I think the Orioles are going to have to make. But I don't think the Orioles are going into a rebuild, mind you. I think the Orioles are going to retool in the offseason.
No, I think they've got the right components. They just need some additional.
I heard somebody say this multiple times. I've seen multiple talking heads. Zach Crockett, who pitches for the Red Sox, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, by any justifiable means, he should be on the Orioles. The Orioles had better prospects, had more prospects. The Orioles didn't want to part with prospects, and they didn't make the trade with the White Sox. So if you put Crockett and you put him with Bradish then with Cy Rodgers, that would be a heck of a rotation. And Crockett's he's probably gonna not win the Cy Young, but he's probably gonna finish second.
Mm-hmm. He's great.
Just Scooble, whatever, the guy from Detroit will probably end up winning. Yeah.
Listen, back off.
I'm just saying.
I know, but just
the bully for the Red Sox. They were willing to part with some prospects.
They were.
That they probably would have ruined anyway. And, well, listen, the Red Sox got us 2 ways. They got Crockett, and they pawned off Tyler O'Neill on us.
Yeah, I know.
Like, seriously.
You're welcome.
There's the other Jack.
I was going to say, there's the other Jack.
Former cover boy.
Former cover man.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about your O's are in the bottom.
Yes.
My Sox are third.
Yes.
Which is fine. Middle of the pack.
Clinging to a wild card, bro.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Tigers are number 1 in the Central. White Sox.
Oh boy, they're bad.
West, you get the Astros, which is not surprising.
The Mariners have played pretty well, but they've been fading a little.
What's the half a game?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
but it's gonna be
back and forth between.
It's gonna be something like the Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox.
Yep.
Obviously, Detroit's in.
Detroit, the Guardians are great.
Yeah.
And Kansas might pull it out.
But I think it's really, I think it's going to be the Mariners. It's going to be like the Mariners and the Red Sox sort of duking it out for that last wild card spot.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're looking at. But no, I mean, hey, the Red Sox have played well.
They have.
I don't know that you have to say, they've exceeded expectations. They have an unlimited budget, whether they use it or not. I think, but they have one.
As a Red Sox fan, a long-term Red Sox fan, I'm happy.
I think they're right in the mix.
If we were at the bottom, we were at the bottom so many times. People were like, "Oh, you won 2 World Series or whatever." I'm like, "Listen,
I look at the American League playoff picture as wide open.
100%. Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I'm so Detroit can win. I think Detroit probably from top to bottom is probably the best team.
Good. Yeah.
But I'm not still sold they're going to win it. I hope the Blue Jays gag like the dogs that they are.
We don't like the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Everybody knows has been listening to us for the last 6 seasons now. So.
You know, so I don't. By the way, I think the Yankees are just a terribly constructed team. I continue to say that.
I think they're
like I just
don't
it's
a house
see.
Of cards over there.
You know. So I mean, hey, I think any of the teams that get in, I think the big dumper, Cal Raleigh's been a great story for baseball in Seattle. I don't think Seattle's winning that division.
I don't think so either.
I mean, I think nobody wants to see the Astros win the pennant because
nobody likes the Astros.
And we've just seen them so much.
They've been around.
I think I think Detroit would be a good story.
I think so too.
I think that'd be the preferred story in the American League.
Right, and they're number one in the Central, so hopefully that happens. Let's talk about the National League.
National League, some really elite teams out front. Two really, really good baseball teams in the East and the Central. Two very good baseball teams.
Phillies, the Brewers.
The Phillies and Brewers, and you know the Brewers are hard to quantify. Like they don't have these premium stars, but man, they lead all of baseball in wins. They're the best team in baseball right now.
They're great, and you know the Phillies beat the Brewers, which was like Tim was not expecting. Tim's a Phillies fan, for those who don't know. We've been watching a ton of Phillies because let's face it, our other teams are kind of like. But the Phillies are doing great, and the Mets also.
Yeah.
So the Phillies and the Mets, you know, battling it out. They're playing tonight, 4-game series, fourth of the 4 game. But the Brewers, I think come on.
So listen, I think,
and the Dodgers, of course.
But here's the thing: the Dodgers have been bad. They're still leading the division, okay? But they're right. But they're not that far about the Padres. But But the Dodgers. Shohei's been great.
It's always the Dodgers, the Padres battling it out.
Yeah.
The Giants sometimes get in there. Every
Right.
once in a while,
they did early, and then
they fell off. The Colorado Rockies.
Dumpster fire.
Good God. You can say anything you want about the O's being in the basement, but they aren't as bad nearly.
No,
as the
I
Rockies.
agree.
They've lost 106 games.
So listen,
They're 42 games back.
I know. I think so. When I look at the Dodgers, like for as much money as they spent, they just don't. This isn't their year. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see them. The Dodgers have looked.
They've looked better.
Middling.
They've looked better.
Yeah. I just don't see them pulling it all together.
You know what? It's been a long season, and it's wearing on them.
And it's been multiple long seasons because they've been in the playoffs a lot. So I think it's just the wear and tear.
I mean,
dude.
I think the Padres.
By the way, Clayton Kershaw, time to ride off into the sunset, big boy. Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Tip your hat and go.
Yeah.
Padres, I think might sneak in that one.
I think, but obviously the Dodgers and Padres are both getting into the playoffs.
Of course, that's a given.
I think big boy baseball out of the National League. I think it's really, really good teams.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be surprised. I mean, listen, not just because obviously friends and obviously your husband.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see the Phillies win it. And by the way, Phillies have been great. Wheeler's done for the year.
Yeah.
What does that look like though in the playoffs? Because they haven't missed him yet.
True.
But do you really?
But in a run,
that guy's been nails in the playoffs for you before.
That's true.
So you worry about that,
Schwarber
right? And here's the point I was going to make about the Phillies.
Yeah.
We know when you get to October, when the lights get the brightest, man, number 3 is going to be a star because Bryce Harper's a star.
Yeah.
Because he really hasn't been that great this year by Bryce Harper standards.
No, he hasn't been great. But
I think, listen, bright lights, big city, man, it's Bryce Harper time. I think he's.
How insufferable is my husband going to be if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, if they won the Super Bowl, and the Phillies win the World Series?
It'd be one of the great sporting years of all time.
I mean, Philadelphia, they're going to have to.
Go crazy, Philadelphia.
I mean, greasing all those poles.
I know.
Good Lord.
But I think, I just think the Phillies are due.
They've looked really good the last 2 years.
Yeah, and it's a team that's been to the playoffs the last couple of years. So they have that experience.
And they have the same, roughly, major players.
Right.
And they are really hitting. Now, Castellanos, they pulled out.
Yeah.
Because he just wasn't hitting. My husband refers to him lovingly as Castellanos, that bum.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that they really do have the muster to go.
Yeah, and I think if Bryce Harper gets hot, when you have he and Schwarber in the center of that lineup, it's just so tough.
Shore bombs, baby.
I know. He's at 50. He's only behind the big dumper, for Cal Raleigh.
Ohio guy.
Who?
Schwarber.
Schwarber?
Yeah.
So, OH.
IO.
Yeah. So, by the way, let's just talk about this just briefly.
Sure.
AL and NL MVP, Aaron Judge, and Cal Raleigh. I think it should be Raleigh. And it's not like Aaron Judge hating. First off, if I compare Aaron Judge's numbers to this year to last year was epic. Even though sort of across the board, Aaron Judge has had a really good year.
Yeah.
Some really great stats. I just think Cal Raleigh catching so many games. Now, the issue is Cal Raleigh's down. He's going to be like sub 240 batting average.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's playing a much harder position in baseball. One of the most grueling position in baseball to play is catcher.
Absolutely.
Aaron Judge gets a much easier go of it playing right field. Okay, it is significant, the wear and tear.
Yeah.
So when you see Cal Raleigh falling off as the end of the season approaches, that is not atypical for a catcher.
No, it's not.
We see that a lot. Catchers just sort of get worn out.
As anybody would.
If I was a voting member for the American League MVP right now, I'm voting for Cal Raleigh. Now, if Judge closes the show, leads him to the division, can get past Toronto,
then sure.
Then yeah, okay, you can convince me otherwise. National League, clearly Schwarber, but the by far betting favorite is Shohei. And
I get it, but okay, Shohei Ohtani is impressive.
Yeah.
Nobody is denying that, but I just feel like Schwarber is like the underdog, and I feel like he's really well liked, and he's performing like crazy. He's 50 home runs.
Here's what I think. I think Schwarber is I don't understand why Schwarber is such a huge underdog. It's
I don't either.
I was reading on a website. It's it's a foregone conclusion that it's Ohtani, and I'm thinking, man,
no, it's not.
But so if you were asking me to vote, man, it's a tough vote because especially when Ohtani pitching now, Schwarber essentially only DHs.
Effective.
Right, but it is. But I'm saying talk about no wear and tear.
I got it. Yeah.
Though Schwarber did back in the day, played a decent outfield.
He did.
He's not a bad outfielder. Yeah, I would.
Maybe it's just because he's on my screens in my house all
he's
the time,
clutch.
And he's clutch. And here's the other thing: it's like the announcers are like, they dim the lights now, which makes me feel like they just aren't paying the power bill. But they hit this huge home run, and it's a big deal, and especially this late in the season, he's still
hitting
dependable Schwarber bombs, and he did that home run derby like a maniac.
Yeah, but I would if you were asking me and I was voting, I would probably vote for Schwarber, but I'm not sure. Listen,
do you think it's because he's an East Coaster?
Probably. Yeah. And I think Ohtani offensively hasn't been nearly as good as last year, but my God, last year was 50-50. I mean, no one's ever done. And listen, I think Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player in the world. That's a really
given. Does he need an award?
Point. But
does he need
what
another
has he
trophy?
meant to his team this year? And again, I think that the Phillies have looked like a more complete team. Schwarber's clearly led them this year because it hasn't been Harper.
No.
And Shohei Ohtani, the Dodgers, I understand they're leading the division. Looks like a dumpster fire in my mind. They don't look clutch. They look
tired.
They look old and tired right now. And they do have some old guys. Freddie Freeman, who I love as a human, and I think it is a heck of a baseball player. I'd like him to be on my team.
Yeah.
Not getting any younger. Again, Kershaw, old. I mean, they got some old dudes. Mookie's really struggled this year.
I know. I know.
So, yeah.
I said, the Dodgers get all your favorite baseball players. So, eventually, if the Dodgers get into the World Series, I'm like, I want Mookie to do well.
I figure in a couple of years, Gunnar Henderson will be a Dodger.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a Dodger than a Yankee.
Oh,
Yes.
my God. Yeah. So. Get him out. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, that's our opinions about sports.
So this is that moment where if you don't want to hear us talk about politics, because remember, You Don't Know Jack is Maryland-centric and sports-centric, but it is not limited to Maryland or sports.
No.
We do have political views.
And you're going to hear
we pretty much espouse our political views.
Or if you are sensitive to the topic of Charlie Kirk in any way, this is a time to say sayonara to the podcast and thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with what we're going to be talking about in a few minutes, then stay tuned by all means.
Yeah.
But if you are trying to maintain a level of sanity, we understand completely.
Listen, if you're trying to maintain a level of sanity, go to a different country. Because we've crossed
crossed that threshold.
So Charlie Kirk is not the breaking point of our sanity. Charlie Kirk is yet just another, to paraphrase Pink Floyd, he's just another brick in the wall.
No, I get it. So I didn't, full transparency, I didn't really know who this person was until yesterday.
I just knew he was some Republican loudmouth.
So this is
conservative loudmouth.
So this is what I know. This is my knowledge that I've gained in the last 24 hours, right? So he was a white male. He was shot and killed in Utah. He was 31, married with 2 kids.
Yep.
He was talking at a Utah college campus. He was a right-wing conservative Republican whose narrative was divisive. He was not a political candidate, but a pundit who had right-wing conservative following. And his message, especially on gun control, is, and I quote, "We must also be real. We must be honest with the population. Having an armed citizenry comes with a price, and that is part of liberty. I think it's worth having it cost, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our God-given rights." That's his quote, end quote. In the simplest of analogies, he believed that you had to break some eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he was one of the eggs.
Yeah. I mean,
that is what I know about the situation. And that's what I
am not gleeful that
No.
that a young guy, man, woman, or whatever got shot. I'm not gleeful when any young person, old person, middle-aged person gets shot. I'm not gleeful when there's a school shooting like there was yesterday.
No, 3 people died.
I'm not gleeful when there was a school shooting a week ago or a week and a half ago in Minnesota where kids were in a Catholic church praying and they got shot.
Yes.
I'm not gleeful when 2 Democratic, as in the Democratic Party, state senators from Minnesota or state representative are gunned down in their home by a conservative dressing up like a police officer. I'm not happy when a guy that's from Maryland had clearly gone off the deep end is shooting a middle-aged husband that happens to be the CEO of United Healthcare and then becomes celebrated for it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not happy about gun violence. I'm not happy when young folks are shut down in the street of, be it Chicago or Memphis or Gary, Indiana or Baltimore or Omaha, Nebraska.
Right.
Because let me tell you, or Tulsa, Oklahoma, they have gun violence in conservative or Republican and Democratic states. I mean, Miami's not without gun violence.
No.
So I don't know. Houston is not without gun violence.
No, and I honestly feel like I said, that's just my knowledge of the situation.
Yeah.
It best surmised in a way that is not political in any way. These are just the facts as I know them.
Right.
And it is awful that a life was lost yesterday. I think it's equally awful that it's now being politicized. Yeah. This is what it is. This person was exercising their free right, their free speech right, and was actively talking about gun control when
or the lack thereof, or the reason there shouldn't be any, because
correct,
in order to maintain a well-regulated militia, the right to bear arms should not be infringed upon.
Right. But at the time of his death, he was speaking about removal of guns from people who might be transgender.
Right.
And then he lost his life. Yeah. My real concern is because he's dead, so we can't go back on that. That's a finite. That's done. But the people that were in the crowd that were exposed to this might have been recording it because they wanted to either reference back to it because they thought it was just like a regular event that he was hosting. And he was hosting these all over the country. This wasn't just a one-off.
This was the kickoff, though. This was the first.
But he's done it
and
before.
And the last, yes.
Well, he's done it before.
Yes.
He's done another college campus tour. They have to carry that burden for the rest of their lives. They have that trauma with them. They're not going to be able to get rid of that, maybe. But it's also very widespread online, meaning that video is circulated very quickly online without any balance or measure to keep it from people that shouldn't see it.
Warning, you're going to see a guy get shot in the throat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to say, if you or somebody that you know does not want to see videos like that now or ever, you can turn off autoplay on your applications that you use, like whether it be YouTube or Facebook or whatever, because the majority of people were seeing this because the video started to autoplay.
Right.
And they were in it before they knew it was happening. So if you don't want that to happen, we're going to link a link in our show notes where it walks you step by step on how to turn those things off on autoplay.
See, we're here to help.
Yeah. But it is not normal to watch somebody be killed. And if you're experiencing any trauma about that, you should reach out to talk to somebody or seek help if you need to.
Well, by the way, if you are blaming one political party for what happened yesterday, I also encourage you to reach out and seek political help or seek help, because that's not normal.
No.
And that would include the leaders of the Republican Party. Somehow the Democratic Party is to blame for this. The Democratic Party is not to blame for what happened to Charlie Kirk. The gunman is to blame for what happened to Charlie Kirk. The Republican Party is not to blame for the 2 Minnesota state senators that got shot.
No.
Okay?
And I don't believe the rhetoric on the left side said that.
No, I listen. I think I said this, and I'm blanking on his last name. I will say the governor of Utah was spot on yesterday. He basically said, we, meaning Americans, we have been here for 250 years, and essentially, I'm paraphrasing, we ain't going to make it another 250 years if we don't look at ourselves and understand what the heck are we doing? We're shooting people because we don't like their words on either side, or we don't like how they vote. We got to be better than that. And, you know, the problem is, well, I would tell that governor of Utah, who I probably have no political affinity with in terms of how he would vote on things than I would, you know, hats off to him. I thought he was spot on. But that's called moral leadership. And the problem is, in moments like this is when you look to a president to be the consoler in chief. This is where you look to Bill Clinton after the Oklahoma bombing, and the people of Oklahoma City still love Bill Clinton because of what he did and how he made them feel after that. You know, when they just had that, it was like the 35th anniversary of that.
Yeah.
Well,
one of our own physicians was was there when that happened.
Yeah, it's George W. Bush in New York, okay? The bastion
Today.
of liberalism, okay? But George W. Bush, when he went there and said, you know, they're going to hear from all of us, and he was there for them. And the people will never forget that leadership, you know, we're here for you.
Right.
You know,
I think that...
And we do not have a leader. No, he wants to sit there and spew the rhetoric that somehow, you know, the Democratic Party scum and socialist agenda was to blame for this. It's not. It's the act of a madman.
Right.
The person who pulled the trigger is a madman. However, guess what? And I don't care if they are a Democrat or a Republican, liberal, conservative, gay, straight, trans. They're a murderer, and they're mad. They're by the definition, you're insane. Okay,
well,
you really
that's my
are.
thing. It's the person who's to blame for this is the person who pulled the trigger and nobody else.
Yeah.
And you can't be in the mind of that person, and you can't speak for that person. Right. And I understand that people are trying to grasp at straws to try to either justify this or try to unpack why this happened. You're never going to get an answer. Right. So the best thing I can say is this was a death that should not have occurred. It did occur. Unfortunately, you know, our society as a whole and the American population is questionable at this point. Yeah. And I think that, you know, it shouldn't be about politics, it's about people. And I think that you've got to get back to looking at people as a whole and instead of a sum of their parts, which is what we're doing. You are labeling people to single them out and only view them as one thing. When, as we both know, humans are very complex in their thought and how they feel about things. And you can be very dynamic in that way. And I think that you've got to stop looking at somebody and putting them in a box because they might think differently than you.
So listen, I might not agree with anything that Charlie Kirk ever uttered. I viewed it as certainly divisive speech. I would defend his right to say it forever. But, you know, that's his view. That's his politics. And he went home, though. He was a husband, a dad, a son, you know, and there are people that are going to miss him, and I feel bad for him. But by the way, on the other side, AOC was great today. She was talking about it. And she's not trying to ruin the country, as some of the conservatives think.
No.
She has a different worldview on how she thinks our democracy should work.
And
but
also,
yes, but
that
listen,
worldview is informed by the way that she was raised
Right.
and the things that she had to come up against or was
and the
influenced
same for
by.
what influenced Charlie Kirk.
And the same for him, right?
But so what I'm saying to you though is, no. Remember, she's somebody's significant other. She's somebody's child.
Yeah.
And no, we should sit there and say, listen, I disagree with her, and I think she's got the wrong view for America, and she's going to lead us wants us to go in the wrong direction, wants to weaken America. Okay, that's fine. But then the same brokenness says, but you know what? I'm sure she's on a personal level a good person. Like she's not here to. She's misguided politically, but she's not poorly adjusted as a human any more than Charlie Kirk is or anyone else is, or we hope when they're in positions of leadership.
He felt really passionate about what he was talking about, and he felt like this was his purpose. That's fine. He was doing that. Fantastic. Again, I didn't know who he was. Doesn't make a difference.
I didn't know who the Minnesota lawmakers were. They voted their conscience. They got paid to do it. They got elected to do it. They voted their conscience.
Absolutely.
They didn't deserve to be shot in their house. Their dog didn't deserve to be shot with them, for God's sakes. I mean, come on.
I mean, that's...
Be outraged. Be outraged about all of it, though.
Right.
But be outraged and say, I'm outraged by this. We've got to tone down this overheated...
One thing I would love to implore the family of Mr. Kirk is to let his death not be in vain, and maybe advocate for some gun legislation.
I think you're being very optimistic.
That's why I prefaced it.
I'm too nice to say you're being Pollyanna-ish.
Not being Pollyanna-ish.
I think expecting that is...
I'm expecting nothing. I am hoping that... also it's very recent, so some time must pass before things maybe will settle out. But it wouldn't.
You want him to be James Brady, who was shot.
Yeah,
who was Reagan's press secretary.
Absolutely. I would love that.
Was a Reagan Republican.
Absolutely.
Was shot and became a huge advocate for gun control violence.
I think the people that speak about gun control at a distance, an arm's length, do not understand what it's like to be a member of a family or a friend who's somebody who's died by gun violence.
Well, the Republicans constantly tear into David Hogue, who lived through Parkland, or Fred Guttenberg, whose daughter was killed at Parkland. Like, these people were touched with gun violence.
Abby Giffords, I think,
she
made a great statement.
Yes.
Yesterday, having
former
survived,
congresswoman who
survived being shot,
and her husband is Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona.
So my thing is, you have here's what I love about the human race. You have the ability to change your mind.
You do.
And you have the ability to say, I was wrong and I'm going to try my best. What I thought I knew, I don't know. And I didn't know fully. And instead of doubling down, it might be healing and beneficial to kind of open your mind up to say, I don't want anybody else to feel like I feel right now. And it could be preventable. Just keeping that in mind. That's it.
You're appealing to our better angels.
I am.
As the governor of Utah encourages all to look to our better angels.
Absolutely.
Lydia, I don't disagree, and I support that. I just am very skeptical.
You're a realist. I understand that.
I didn't mean to be offensive when I said Pollyanna-ish. I think it's... but I just have... sometimes I think...
Not naive,
I think,
Gilmore.
where is bottom? When do we hit bottom?
That's I think
I hope last night was bottom. I hope that was the nadir.
I think that is the question that most people are asking themselves right now. How much worse does this have to get before we move the needle in the opposite direction? No. It is not that we do not have the power to make change, because we can. When is the groundswell reaching a fever pitch?
Like you do have our elected president, our fairly elected president, who won in 2016, lost in 2020, won in 2024.
Yep.
Has practiced since he got into this dark art the politics of personal destruction.
Yep.
And personal attacks. So I don't know how that person pivots to be the consoler in chief.
He's not.
And
He's incapable.
Without that person, there's no one else who can really be seen as your national consoler in chief. I just don't see that person, and I think so. That's why I can unfortunately believe we have not hit nadir, and I think the worst is yet to come. I certainly worry about folks that are in that political sphere. But I hope they continue to talk and to speak out. And Martin Luther King knew he had a bullseye on his head for a long time and didn't let it change him. And of course, he died at 39 from a racist gunshot bullet. Medgar Evers got shot in the back in his driveway for fighting for civil rights in 1963. That happened. It happened, America.
And that wasn't that long ago.
No.
And I think that
so I don't know that this is going to stop.
No. But for the moment, just consider that it could.
I heard John Meacham, who's a presidential historian and a very wise guy in a good way. I mean, I say wise. Said, he encouraged everybody to take a breath before you be a keyboard warrior. Just like, you know.
I would encourage everybody, as a person who works in the digital media space, stay offline.
Yeah.
If I had to do it over again, I probably wouldn't be in the digital media space. But I'm just saying, I stayed off all day. You are not going to find the answers on your phone. It's just not going to happen. And the problem is that everybody wants an answer, or they want to know how they should feel about something immediately, instead of doing the work of processing it, thinking about it, and being uncomfortable. We're used to getting a dopamine hit off of our phone, and we're not comfortable. We're not thinking about bad things. We want to watch dog videos or whatever, right? And now we have to sit with a very difficult topic. And then you have to put yourself in the position of saying, well, if I plan on saying something, like you and I are saying something about it, if I plan on saying something about it, I have no opinion one way or the other. I did not know this person. Right. I knew this person sowed seeds of not so great stuff.
Divisive
nature. He's a
guy.
Divisive character.
Yes.
But he'd never deserved to die like
Correct.
this. And I think divisive characters, even in their worst states, have the ability to change. I think that people do have the ability to change if prompted in a way that's profound. And sometimes it has to be something like this.
Yeah. George Wallace, was shot.
Yeah.
George Wallace was a segregationist late in his life, walked back, said, I was wrong. I mean, he walked that back.
Exactly.
So, I know you hope.
You hope that there isn't this blind.
No, I agree with everything you said about Charlie Kirk being a divisive guy, but not deserving to be murdered. No one deserves to be murdered.
No.
But the other thing that I would echo, and I just simply cannot stand or abide, is that somehow the Democratic Party is to blame for this.
Nobody is to blame except the person pulling the trigger.
Correct.
That's it. And that's it.
Yeah.
End of.
And if you want to say it's the rhetoric, then fine. It's the rhetoric on both sides. Then they all need to change the rhetoric. It's not just the Democratic rhetoric.
If you come up against somebody who's spouting this, then you say to them, the only person who is to blame is the person who pulled the trigger.
Right.
And that's the end of it. And then you can say, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Yeah. And walk away. I mean, the point is that some people don't know what to say, so they just repeat. This is why we're in this position.
Exactly.
So the ability to actually engage in debate without it going
resorting to violence
is something that we need to all work on.
Agreed.
Okay. This is a heavy podcast episode.
It is, but hey, it's
but it's worth talking about.
It is absolutely worth talking about.
And listen, if you are having problems, please go seek help. If you're like, I need help processing.
If you're so mad that you want to hurt somebody because Charlie Kirk got shot, you need to get help.
You need to get help. Yeah. And also, if you're, I again will say, please just stay offline for a few days and collect your thoughts and really think about it.
Listen, you and I talked about it last year after the 2024 election. I said one of the things is I'm trying to understand my neighbors better.
Absolutely.
And because they support things that I don't, but I don't sit there and say my neighbors are a bunch of right-wing nut jobs. I sit there and say, I want to understand what leads them to vote their way, the different than me, so I understand it better. So my answer to folks that are very upset about Charlie Kirk, rather than say it's a bunch of left-wing scum fascists that are to blame for this, say, I don't understand why they didn't like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, and maybe try to understand, like, well, what didn't you like about that? Why was being supporting of your country bad thing or whatever? You know,
saying like, what value did you get out of him?
Right,
right,
yeah, and right. If someone is really upset about it, say, oh, yeah, I'm missing it. What was so moving for you about him? Or those of you who are gleeful that somebody's gone.
That I think is
that's weird, but I mean,
it's so strange.
I still think it should be like, you could still say though, but people who are like, hey, he was a divisive guy, he lived by the sword, he died by the sword, and hey, he got what he had coming to him. Well, maybe you want to understand, well, why was he not a bad guy? Or maybe you should be trying to figure that out.
I think it's really good to have, you know, we talked about this in the Reagan administration. They took away the ability to have both sides represented, and you didn't have to fact check.
Right.
You could just say whatever you wanted to say, and that's when news became entertainment.
Right.
I really wish they would implement that rule again, because I think we're missing out as a society of having truth speak to power, and then also having people make up their own decisions and do their own research and figure out who they want to vote for or who they want to support in a way that isn't party line related. Yeah. And I think that we are human beings first and foremost, and then secondary applications or labels come on after that. But at the basic human level, we need to do better. And hopefully if you're kind of still figuring this whole thing out about how to feel about it, stay in your feelings, write it down, get it out, talk to somebody else.
And I think spend time trying to understand your neighbor.
And spend time
trying to understand why are the other sides coming from. Yeah. Rather than just say, well, Judas Priest, they're wrong, they're a bunch of idiots, they're a bunch of fascists, or they're a bunch of Nazis, or they're a bunch of this or that. Right. Like, just say, like, what am I missing,
You know what I think would be really valuable for most people is when you're feeling lost and you feel like kind of, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, is you volunteer someplace. Yeah. Volunteer in a place that you connect with. So if it's like Let's Beautify Cumberland, for instance, where you're like, I would really like to just make this place visually more beautiful. Or maybe it's at the food bank. Right. And you're like, I believe that this is a really good and worthy cause. And it gets you out of your head and out of your normal element. And you connect with somebody else. You connect with somebody else that's in the volunteer system. Then you build your community that way. So if you feel like you don't have a community, go volunteer places and several places to figure out what's a good fit. Right. Because it's like dating, you know, maybe not all volunteer places or organizations are a fit for you. Yeah. But if you ever feel like you are lost, volunteer your time, because that is a way of giving back, and you don't feel so helpless in a situation like this.
Agreed. Great way to end.
Okay. Well, this was episode 1.
Episode 1, season 6 in the books. So there's been 5 previous seasons. Now,
which is really hard to believe, but
well over 100 episodes.
Believe it, baby.
Lydia, for those who need a reminder on all the places they can find us if they want to listen to these previous seasons.
All right, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, Audible.
Love Audible.
And iHeartRadio, Deezer, Player FM, and we're on YouTube. You're not going to see us. You're just going to hear us.
Correct. You can also find us at Twitter. It's at JackYDK.
Yes.
You can find Lydia at Twitter at
RTL Pod.
You can find me at JMGGMPG. We're also on Insta.
Yeah, we're on Insta at JackYDK.
Right. So, hey, tune in, turn on, drop out, whatever.
Whatever you need. Yeah. Just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
And it's going to be, if you figure out who our featured Jack is, hit us up. Let us know. Yeah. We're going to be back with more frequency this season. Looking forward to it. We'll be chopping it up.
Absolutely.